Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, and in today's video, I will be bringing you guys my first mock draft of the offseason for the Commanders, mock draft 1.0, and this will be a post-Senior Bowl edition mock draft. It's going to be a full 7th round mock draft, and I'll give you guys my analysis for each and every pick. But before we get into today's video, make sure y'all leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and turn on notifications. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so with our first round pick, round 1, pick 29, I have us selecting Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons. Simmons is a very good tackle prospect, but there is some downsides to him. The main downside to picking him in the first round is injuries. He did suffer a season-ending ACL tear back in, I want to say, like week 6 or week 7 of the college football season when Ohio State played Oregon, and he suffered an injury in that game, which was an ACL tear, right? So because he suffered it so early in the season, or earlier in the season, pretty sure that game was back in October, I do expect him to be back for the start of the NFL season or by training camp, but that is one area of concern when it comes to Josh Simmons. Honestly, if he didn't suffer that ACL tear, then I feel like he would be considered as the best tackle in this draft class. And some people are considering him as that, right? Like, despite the ACL tear, they feel like he could be the first tackle to go off the board. Now, will it happen? Probably not, because of the ACL tear, right? Teams may have concerns with that injury, but Josh Simmons is a very good tackle prospect. He has been starting at left tackle for OSU over the past 2 seasons, and this past season, in 6 games played, he had 306 total offensive snaps, 158 pass blocking snaps, and didn't allow a single sack nor hit, and only allowed 1 hurry. So that is really good. He's a great pass protector. He's 6'5", 310 pounds, has great length, a great build overall. He's very athletic, very quick to get to his blocks, excellent pass protector. Now, one area of improvement for him is in the run blocking game. He's not terrible in the run blocking game. However, he could definitely continue to learn when it comes to run blocking, and definitely can continue to get better when it comes to run blocking, right? So, Josh Simmons, man, he would be a great pick for us at 29. Will he fall there? I feel like he does have a chance to fall to 29 because of the injury, and we need to protect Jaylen, right? Like, Brandon Coleman, I prefer him at left guard. I don't think he's a tackle. And getting a guy like Josh Simmons to plug and play at left tackle to be our potential left tackle of the future, feel like that would be a really good pick. And obviously, that would protect Jaylen's blind side. And protecting Jaylen, man, should be, in my opinion, edges are our most important need. But protecting Jaylen is probably a very close second, right? Because without Jaylen, this team is pretty much nothing, right? So protecting Jaylen is definitely one of the top priorities this offseason, and getting a guy like Josh Simmons to be his blindside protector would be a really good pick in the first round. Round 2, pick 61, I have us taking edge rusher Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina. This guy has a lot of very good traits. 6'4", 248. He is a 5-year senior, I'm pretty sure. He spent his first 4 years at Georgia Tech before transferring to South Carolina before the 2024 season, and he had a very productive season at his only season at South Carolina. He had a total of 28 tackles, 1 pass deflection, 11.5 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. So that is really good production right there. Once again, like I said, 6'4", 248, has an 80-inch wingspan, which is pretty solid, 33-inch arms. So he has really good burst off the line. He's very quick and twitchy, and he takes good angles when it comes to rushing the quarterback. So he also has a really good rip move as a pass rusher, which is obviously a very good move to have in your pass rushing bag as an edge rusher, right? So he has some really, really good traits, and we didn't get enough out of our edge rushers this past season, but the talent just wasn't there. Dante Fowler Jr., he was our best edge rusher, and he was really just a third down guy, right? A situational pass rusher. and he had 10.5 sacks this past season. Incredible, right? Hopefully, we're able to bring him back because I would love him in that role as a third down pass rusher or in our edge rusher rotation, right? So we'd love to bring Fowler back. But Dorrance Armstrong didn't get enough out of him, and Cleveland Farrell, you weren't really expecting much out of him because he's only good at stopping the run, not great at getting to the quarterback. So we didn't have that really good edge rusher this past season. We just don't have the talent there right now, and I do expect us to upgrade the talent at edge rusher this offseason, whether that's through the draft or through free agency. There aren't a lot of options in free agency, so it'll probably have to be through the draft, and Kyle Kennard would be a very, very solid option. Now, one weakness for him is that he doesn't have the greatest strength in the world, so he may struggle in the NFL when it comes to setting the edge, right? I'll read it right here. He lacks strength to hold his ground against O-linemen as a run defender, so that may cause him to kind of struggle to set the edge in the next level, right? He didn't look bad on tape when it came to stopping the run. However, hopefully he can kind of get that strength up because he's going to need to get it up in order to, help him set the edge at the next level. So Kyle Kennard, though, he would be a really solid option at edge rusher in the second round. There's a couple of really nice edge rusher prospects on the first 2 days of the draft that I will be very, very interested in. The Commanders drafting, and Kyle Kennard is definitely one of them. Round 3, pick 79, I have us taking running back Devin Neal out of Kansas. He is one of my favorite running backs in this running back draft class. This running back draft class is absolutely stacked, man. And a guy like Devin Neal, I'm thinking about the tackle Devin Neal, but Devin Neal, he would maybe go in the second round in any other draft, and he still could be going in the second round in this draft. However, because of how stacked the running back class is this year, I could see him falling to the third round, and I could see him falling to our pick in the third round, which is pick 79, man. This dude is an absolute beast, man. He was very productive at Kansas. He has pretty good size. He's 5'11", 210 pounds. He has really good versatility, burst. He's good at making defenders miss out of space. He has really good vision, and that's one of the things that B-Rob doesn't have vision. He doesn't have great vision, and Devin Neal has really good vision. And I've said it for the longest. We've all said it for the longest. We need a guy that has really good burst, really good speed, and has home run hitting ability. Well, at the next level, Devin Neal can have those home runs, right? Those home run runs, right? He has home run hitting ability with him being able to make defenders miss in space and with him having pretty good burst, man. So Devin Neal, he's a guy that I will be very much so interested in. He's one of the running backs, once again, one of my favorite running backs in this entire class. Another guy I really like is Dylan Sampson, running back out of Tennessee. That's another guy that could be going in this range, maybe in the third or fourth round, but Devin Neal is the pick here, and he would be a tremendous back to add to this running back room. All right, so after our third round pick, we do not pick again until round 5, pick 148, and with this pick, I have us selecting wide receiver Jaylen Noel out of Iowa State. He is a slot receiver for Iowa State, or was a slot receiver for Iowa State. 5'11", 200 pounds, had over 1,000 yards this past season at Iowa State, and I feel like he would be a really good slot option for us. I feel like we need we need a legit slot and or wide receiver 3 option in our receiver room, and Jaylen Noel, in my opinion, would provide us with that. Some of his strengths include he has really good short area quickness, has sharp cuts, crisp breaks, which is really good when it comes to route running, and his route running savviness is kind of beyond his years when you really watch his film, right? So that was really good to see. He exhibits some run after catch ability, which is nice. We need a guy like that. Like, none of our guys really provided us with that. We saw it from Terry in the Lions game and the Eagles game, and Diami is good at it on receiver screens, but other than really Diami on receiver screens, like we really don't got that guy that is just able to turn a 2 or 3 yard completion or 2 or 3 yard catch and turn up for like 5, 10, 15 extra yards, right? So we need a guy like that, and Jaylen Noel is a guy that could potentially provide us with that. He's also a really good special teams ace as well. He worked on special teams at Iowa State, and obviously our special teams unit was really good this past season, so getting a guy like Jaylen Noel to kind of play on special teams at times would be a pretty good fit. So I feel like Jaylen Noel, he would fit very well in Cliff's offense, and he would be a really good receiver 3 or slot option for Jaden Daniels. Round 6, pick 207, I have a selecting defensive tackle Tonka Hemingway out of South Carolina. So second South Carolina Gamecock I have a selecting in this mock draft, and we need to make some changes or additions to this defensive tackle room this offseason. Deron Payne and John Allen, they've been super disappointing over the past 2 seasons. Now, we can't really get out of Payne's contract until next season, because if we do try and trade or release him this offseason, then we would have to eat up a massive dead cap hit, and I'm not sure if we would be comfortable with doing that, right? So trading or releasing John Allen would probably be the best option if you were going to try and move on from one of the two, right? So we'll see what they do right there, but we got to add some D tackles into this room, and I feel like Tonka Hemingway will be the perfect guy to add. He's 6'3", 288, so you can say that he's a little bit undersized for a interior D lineman, but he is a very, very intriguing prospect at defensive tackle for sure. He's a versatile defender, so he's capable of lining up at multiple positions along the D line front. And then he has an exceptional first step off the snap, which helps him beat O-linemen, specifically guards, of course. He has very high football IQ and great play recognition skills, which is very, very important. And he has a really strong motor and has good pursuit skills, right? So that's all good to hear right there. And he's also not a bad run defender as well. So adding more depth at the D tackle position and just adding more talent at that position. Well, it's not even about talent at this point, like, because Deron Payne, John Allen, Johnny Newton, all 3 of those guys are talented. We just need more out of them. Like, we just need more out of them, and we probably just need to make changes and additions this offseason, right? And through the draft, Tonka Hemingway is a guy on day 3, and he has the potential to raise his draft stock and potentially go on day 2 of the draft. However, right now, he's projected to go on day 3, and in the 6th round, I have us taking him, and if we were to take him here, I would be pretty happy with the pick because I feel like we need to make additions and or changes on the D line, and Hemingway is a guy that I would definitely consider drafting. Round 7, pick 237, I have a selecting linebacker Jaylen McLoud out of Auburn. This guy is a pretty interesting linebacker prospect because at Auburn, he was kind of a hybrid between edge rusher and off-ball linebacker. However, at the Senior Bowl this week, he was taking snaps at off-ball linebacker for pretty much the entire week, so wasn't really getting much run at edge, but at off-ball linebacker. So it seems like he will be playing off-ball linebacker in the NFL. Maybe an NFL team views him differently, like maybe an NFL team views him as a guy that can play full-time edge rusher and maybe take some snaps at off-ball linebacker, or maybe an NFL team just views him as straight up an off-ball linebacker. We'll see, but at the Senior Bowl, he was taking snaps at off-ball linebacker for the majority of the week. So this guy has pretty interesting traits. He has really good traits, actually. He plays with great hustle and motor. He has pretty solid speed, has really good pursuit, and is a guy that constantly chases down ball carriers. So those are all really good traits. And when it comes to linebacker, obviously we have Frankie Louvu, Jordan McGee. We drafted last year in the 5th round. Have high hopes for him. He's a guy that I expect to take more and more snaps next year at linebacker. And I also expect us to bring back Bobby Wagner. He looks like a guy that wants to come back. If he wants to come back, and if we want to bring him back, then I'm definitely bringing Bobby Wagner back. But bringing in a guy like Jaylen McLoud to develop another linebacker you could develop behind Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu. And once Bobby Wagner, departures, you could give Jaylen McLoud more and more snaps at off-ball linebacker. So Jaylen McLoud, definitely a guy I would be interested in drafting in day 3 of the draft. And he's a guy that you could sit and develop behind Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu. Final pick right here. Round 7, pick 248. I have us selecting Ohio State cornerback Jordan Hancock. This guy has pretty solid traits. He plays fast and physically. Obviously, 2 traits that DQ and Joe Witt Jr. pretty much require out of their defensive players. He is a pretty instinctive DB and a very sharp processor in coverage. He's a dangerous blitz threat with the speed off the edge. Now, he's not the most explosive guy. Like, he doesn't have the most explosive, or he's not an elite explosive guy, right? But he does have pretty good speed when he's a blitzer off the edge. And Ohio State used him as a blitzer off the edge sometimes as that 5th guy going to the quarterback, right? So definitely can use him in that area right there. He is also very agile and has pretty good hip fluidity. So those are all pretty positive strengths as well. Now, like I said, he doesn't have elite explosiveness. Also, doesn't really match up greatly against bigger receivers due to his size. And his size isn't bad, 6'1", 195, not bad. However, that mass compared to receivers that are bigger with more mass could be a struggle for him, right? So don't really want to put him against receivers that are much bigger than him. And then he can also be worked off balance when matching releases. So that's definitely a thing he has to work on. But he would be good cornerback depth in my opinion. The only 2 cornerbacks under contract, I'm pretty sure, going into the offseason are Marshawn Lattimore and Mikey Sanders still. Noah I, Michael Davis, St. Juice, they are all free agents this offseason. I expect us to bring back Noah Igbinoghene because he is good depth and he was pretty solid for us this year. If he's your first guy coming off the bench, if someone goes down with an injury or if someone needs to be replaced due to like bad performance or something like that, then I would definitely trust Noah Igbinoghene to come in. And I also think that we're going to sign a cornerback too to put across from Marshawn Lattimore. And there's a couple of options in free agency like Mooney Ward, DJ Reed, Byron Murphy, and a couple of other guys as well. So definitely could see us signing a cornerback. And I do have us signing a cornerback too this offseason, which is why I have us picking a cornerback so late in the draft. But Jordan Hancock, he would be a solid depth guy to have in this cornerback room. Obviously a 7th round pick, so don't expect too much out of him, of course. But he's definitely a guy I would consider taking on day 3 in like the 7th or 6th round. So that is it for today's video. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and make sure to turn on notifications. I'll have a bunch more mock drafts coming over the draft process. We'll probably have like 5 or 6 more, or even more than that, right? So we'll see. Comment down below what guys you would be interested in taking within the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft for the Commanders. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.